Uh-oh, you are now listening to
D, the Delinquent.
On the podcast.
This is Many Hats, No Cap, baby.
D, the Delinquent. Many hats, no cap.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Many Hats, No Cap with Delinquent. Do you believe in ghosts, spirits, angels, demons, other realms? I do. I've been through way too much to just not to. And I'm going to share a lot of those stories down the road. But for this one, I'm going to share with y'all a true story of how a mom helped her baby boy beyond the grave. And it's a true story. This story took place at my old job as a pawnbroker. I was a third key / assistant manager for a pawn shop for about 9 years, almost a decade. Now, I do say that with a little bit of bitterness that I was a third key / assistant manager because they only emphasized third key. They never wanted to pay me as an assistant manager. You know how the corporate world goes. But anyway, it was a cool job. Out of all the many jobs that I've had in my life, being a pawnbroker was by far one of my favorite jobs that I ever had. Every day was different. You never knew what was going to come through them doors. The conversations with people were just different. Some were exciting and super dope, and some were just extremely bizarre. And of course, there was those random situations and occurrences that just took place. That's just how it is in everyday life. Some people loved me. Some people hated me. That's just the pawn shop world, baby. And I got to help a lot of people, and I really did enjoy that. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Helping other people was awesome. It wasn't my money, so I helped people accordingly. Let's just say that. But anyway, it was an awesome job. And before I share the story of how a mom helped her baby boy beyond the grave, I want to talk a little bit about how awesome I was at that job. Just playing. But no, I don't mean to toot my own horn. I was a great pawnbroker. And I'm just tripping at the price of gold right now. What the hell is going on with gold? I got the computer right in front of me. I'm going to look up the gold price today. Today is November 11th, 2025. I just want to see where gold at. God damn! 4127.60 an ounce. When I first became a pawnbroker, I remember gold was close to $1,000 an ounce. I should have bought gold. I also should have bought Bitcoin. I actually had about $200 worth of Bitcoin when Bitcoin was about $1. No cap. No bullshit. But I let my DMs at the pawn shop get to me and convince me that Bitcoin was a facade. It's not going to last. It's going to tank. So I ended up selling it. And this is also a true story. After it boomed, hitting like 30,000, I remember the DM coming up to me one day at my lunch telling me, Joey, I am sorry. I am sorry. He ended up telling me that like every time I see him. Damn right you better be sorry. I'd have been a million. I wouldn't be trying to do a podcast right now. Anyway, let's check out the silver price today. That's pretty good. $51.03 an ounce. That's not bad. Me and my wife, we got about 5 pounds worth of silver. I started buying scrap silver and bullions and coins and all that good stuff about 7 years ago with the intent of saving it till our son becomes 18 years old so we can use that towards his first car. We got realistic dreams and goals here. I mean, I don't think silver's gonna make us super rich in, 18 years. That would be nice, but just to be, just to keep it realistic, our plan is to have enough money to get our son a nice, dependable, reliable vehicle when he turns 18. That's just the truth. So hopefully the silver will cover that. The silver projections, if all goes well, in year 2050, it might hit $100 an ounce. That will definitely be enough for us to buy him a nice whip. And you might ask yourself, why are you so concerned about a car? Well, I'm from the hood, baby. I grew up broke. I grew up with nothing. And I remember when I wanted my first car, all my parents can get me was a 1990 Geo Metro, which I had to share with my older brother. That just wasn't fun. I was putting more oil in that thing than I was putting gas. It was leaking all over the place. It was a 4-door, and when it was time to actually sell it, nobody wanted it. We even dropped the price from like $1,000 to $200. Nobody wanted it. So true story. Me and my brother, and I'm sorry, Mom. Me and my brother took it to the Santa Cruz wash and we flipped it. And it's still there to this day, rusted. There's a whole bunch of homeless people that made it this cool little fort. I mean, let them have it. It's cool. We reported it's nah, never mind. You know what I was gonna say. But another thing I want to check out is platinum. I think platinum, in my personal opinion, is definitely going under the radar. See, platinum right now, let's just call it $1,600. It's $15.99.20. $1,600 an ounce. Today, November 11th, 2025. If you look at the history comparing platinum and gold, for the first time in our history ever, gold is worth more than platinum. And we all know how the markets work. They always correct themselves. So in my opinion, buy as much platinum as you possibly can. Physical platinum, and hang on to it. Hopefully, in about 10 years, within 10 years, the market will correct itself and platinum will then skyrocket and pass gold or become comparable in price-wise. If not, platinum is still going to go up. It's on the rise. You'll at least make your money back. Don't hate me if I'm wrong. That's just my personal opinion. Anyway, now let's get back to the story. So, how did a mom help her baby boy from beyond the grave? Well, it comes down to one specific customer, of course. It's about him and his mama. His name is Jimmy Dean. And that's his real name. I know him so well, and I know he's the kind of person that if he sees this, he won't mind that I'm sharing this story, because it was awesome, man. It was absolutely just fucking awesome. So Jimmy Dean, before COVID, he owned and operated his own business. He was like remodeling homes, and he had a whole squad with him. I think he had about 20 employees, several jobs, and his forecast just looked amazing. He was doing great for himself. He was always coming into the pawn shop and he was buying everything from jewelry, shoes, tools, collectibles, electronics. He bought everything he wanted. He just bought it. And then there was times where he would bring in his employees and he would just let them pick a TV or pick a piece of jewelry for their significant other, and he would just pay for it. Like, he had it like that. It was good times for him. Well, then COVID hit, and damn, it hit him hard. He ended up losing his staff. He just couldn't, pay the payroll. He was losing jobs left and right. And then it got to the point where he ended up having to sell back to the store everything he purchased from us. And he also pawned a lot of stuff that he intended on redeeming, that he wanted to get back, like his tools, his money makers. But about 6 months of this, consistently, him showing up every day, pawning 1 item, 2 items, 3 items, he ended up running out of stuff to pawn and sell. It got so bad for Jimmy, he was asking me to pawn his spare tire. Because it's Jimmy and I established this cool relationship with him, I would take these spare tires from him. I would only give him like $10, but man, when you're broke, $10 is a lot of money. And I tried my best to help him out, but it was getting to that point where his collateral just wasn't enough to justify loans. It wasn't enough to justify a purchase. You know, I helped a lot of people and I bent over backwards for a lot of people, broke a lot of rules for a lot of people, but I can only do so much. You know what I'm saying? It's not my business. It's not my money. So anyway, one day, Jimmy came in. He would always come in first thing in the morning. That location opened up at 9 a.m. Jimmy was there at 9:01 when he needed something. And he was always respectful. He was always polite. I'm telling you, Jimmy Dean is one of the best human beings on this ball of mud. Anyway, so one day, Jimmy Dean comes into the store. And he has these like cheap Bluetooth speakers that you can buy at Family Dollar. They're just not worth much, you know? And he's trying to pawn and sell these speakers. And I'm looking at him and I tell Jimmy, I can't do it this time, bro. I'm sorry. I just can't. And, you know, he gets sad. He gets a little disappointed. And he tells me, I understand, Joey. Thank you. Every time that I seen Jimmy Dean, I'd always see this ring on his pinky finger. A cheesy, almost just a ridiculous ring. I said, Jimmy, what about that ring on your pinky finger? I always see you with that ring. Why don't you sell it, pawn it? And he says, oh, no, man, this ain't real. When my mom died, all my brother and my sisters, they took everything from the house. This was all that I can get from a jewelry box. And I mean, look at it. It was so big, it looked like a ring pop. Damn near a ring pop. He's like, nah, this ain't real. This is costume jewelry. And I said, Jimmy, let me test it. You just never know. Jimmy took off this ring. He wore that ring day in, day out in the field, out in the sun. There was a tan line around his pinky finger because he had it on all the time. Anyway, I go to the whetstone, my little jewelry testing area. I scratch the whetstone, do the acid test, and it passed. It was holding for 18 karat gold. It was white gold. I said, Jimmy, good news. It's like, what? I said, this is gold, brother. You're at least going to get some money for the gold. He's like, what? Hell yeah. Because think about it. Remember I told you Jimmy was just, you know, he was to that point where $10 was a lot of money for him. Now he's getting down to $2, $3 items. So when I tell him that he has gold, think about that feeling, you know? Then I say, bro, I'm going to test the stone. And he goes, nah, don't even waste your time. I'm telling you, this stone was huge. I said, let me test the stone. First, I got to clean it because there was dirt and grime all over this stone. He said, all right, man, do what you got to do. So I take it to the back where our jewelry cleaner is. I threw it in the sonic cleaner, let it go for a minute. I take it out, wiped it down, and it looked immaculate. I had a feeling, right? I take it back to the jewelry testing area. I hit it with the diamond tester. Boom. Hits green. It's a diamond. And as a precautionary measure, I get the moissanite tester. I put the moissanite tester to it. Nothing. This ain't a lab-grown diamond. I hit it again with the diamond tester just to confirm, and yeah, it lights green. This is a diamond. I get the loop. I look at the stone. There's a serial number in there. And then right under a prong, there's another serial number there. Like, this is legit. This is official. I get the sizer. It's over 2.5 carats. Now, at that store that I worked at, whenever you had a diamond bigger than 2 carats, you had to call the DM to come down and check it out. And then he or she will make the offer. So now we're at that point. I let Jimmy know, hey, bro, this stone is real. He's just flabbergasted. He don't know what to say. I remember he leaned up on the counter, put his head down, and he just said, thank you, mama. Thank you. So I called a DM. I tell him, hey, bro, I'm going to need you to come down to check. Me and the DM were cool, by the way. We would talk to each other like that. Hey, homie, what's up, bitch? You know, whatever. I said, hey, homie, you're going to want to come down and see this ring. I think it was 3 carats. I don't remember exactly, but it was a big fucking stone, maybe even 4 carats. But I tell him, hey, I got this ring. Need you to come check it out. Customer wants a big offer. I'm trying to help Jimmy out, of course. DM says, yeah, I could be there in an hour. Have him wait. By the way, that's one way pawn shops like to test customers. Corporate pawn shops, at least. They'll make you wait because they think if he really needs the money, he'll wait. I hate corporate pawn shops that operate like that. Like, nobody wants to be in the pawn shop in the first place if they need money. Most of the time they embarrassed, but they got stuff to do. They want to be in and out. They don't want to wait for their money. Anyway, so he had to wait for an hour. During that waiting period, Jimmy was just telling me more personal things going on with his life. And man, it was a lot worse than I thought at that point. They were after his truck. They repoed his wife's car. And then his wife ended up leaving him. Oh man, it was just hard times for Jimmy. So then the DM walks in, repeats all the tests that I completed, verifies that it's legit. He found another serial number on that ring, types it up on the internet, all the information pops up and it confirms all of our tests, all of our sizing, everything. The DM then asked Jimmy Dean, how much you want to sell it for? Jimmy says, nah, I don't want to sell it. I want to pawn it. That belonged to my mom. I need to get that back if this all goes well. They're going back and forth. We're haggling. We're negotiating, doing all this stuff. And then my DM asks him again, just tell me how much you're trying to get. What's going to help you? And Jimmy says, honestly, if you look at my history here, I got good standing. I pick up everything I can. I never let anything drop. I've spent a lot of money here. I'm always here. I'm a good customer. $10,000 will honestly be the amount that will truly help me get back to life and get back on track. My DM says, done. Done. Goes to the back, gets a check ready, hands him the check. Jimmy tells me, I'll be back tomorrow. I said, oh man, you don't got to pick the ring up that fast. No, I'm going to pick up my tools tomorrow. Okay. Jimmy leaves. The next day, Jimmy ends up coming back with cash now because he cashed the check. He ends up taking all these tools out of pawn. Jackhammers, drills, batteries, compressors, generators, and some drywall tools. He takes them all out of pawn. Then he tells me, I'll be back in a week and I'm going to get everything else out. I said, all right. A week passes. Jimmy comes back. He takes the rest of his stuff out. Then he tells me, I don't got enough for the ring yet, but I'll be back for the ring in a month. I said, all right. Don't worry about it, bro. You got, at that location, it was 90-day terms. So I said, hey, don't worry about it, bro. You got 3 months on that thing. Jimmy says, nah, I'll be here in a month. It's okay. Jimmy leaves. Life goes on. Exactly a month later, Jimmy comes back. And I'll never forget this day, man. I was opening up the store. I was unlocking the door at 9 o'clock. And I saw a nice new truck out there. F-150. Silver. Lifted. And right at 9:01 when I opened the door, the driver door swings open. And some dude pops out. Big old cowboy hat, nice new boots, and jumps out. I look, and it's Jimmy. I said, what's up, Jimmy? He goes, me, bro. Me. I said, oh, that's what's up. And he goes, I'm here for the ring. I said, all right. Comes inside. He has cash. Puts it all on the counter. Nobody's in the store yet. It's super early. I get the ring out and he puts it back on that pinky finger. And I remember him telling me, bro, thank you for everything. I said, nah, man, that's your mama. That's your mama taking care of you, bro. He said, yeah. That was awesome. So then Jimmy left and I never seen Jimmy again, unfortunately. But in the pawn world, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Anyway, that got me thinking, man. Like, before I wrap this up, I think we all think about life insurances, trusts, and wills, and etc. That's all cool. If you could do that, cool. But if you can't, you got to do something else for your seeds, your baby boys and your baby girls. Like, buy scrap gold, buy scrap silver, buy collectibles that you know will increase in value in time. Buy a ring. Leave something behind for your baby boy or baby girl. Anything. Because if one day they need it and that item gets them through something, they gonna know that daddy or mama or daddy and mama got them beyond the grave. That's it for episode 1. I know it's a short one, but I'm finally starting this podcast. So many friends and family of mine have been telling me to do this thing, and I'm finally hitting it full throttle. This is called Many Hats, No Cap with Delinquent. To give y'all a little insight of why I'm calling it Many Hats, No Cap. It's because I've had several jobs, man. I've lived a crazy life. I'm 40 years young, but believe it or not, I've been through a whole lot of things in the workplace, in the work field, and on the blacktop. And I'm gonna share all that with y'all. Fuck it. Much love, y'all. Peace.